Hello and welcome to the final video for subnetting. Okay, on D2L there should be a document that contains some information with the following. It might look a little bit different with some headers and so on, but please check and download the exercise. And what it's going to have, and it's going to have three questions. Okay, it's called question 0, question 1, question 2. Question 0, I'm going to work through about how to do this. Question number 1, question number 2 is exactly the same thing, only there's a little bit of a change. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Get a copy of this document, and you can either write out all the answers onto a piece of paper and upload a picture of it. That would be okay. Or if you want to, you can go ahead and just type it directly into the Word document, upload that one. It doesn't really matter. The only thing I'm going to ask is sort of be consistent. So don't upload something in a document file and then upload a couple of other pictures for some stuff you did on paper. I don't need that. Just use the same mechanism for both questions, please. Okay, so I'm going to put everything in here. All right, so it says consider the following IP address 192.168.142.132/25. Okay, and here's what I want you to do. First of all, calculate the subnet mask in dotted decimal format. Now, what do I mean by dotted decimal format? Well, this is actually the IP address they've been using, dotted decimal. I suppose the other types of formats would be like binary, or you could write it out as a 32-bit number. No, we're going to be using the same format. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and type my numbers right here. I'm going to pick a different color font. Please do this as well, just so it really stands out. Like this one right here kind of looks like it's been sort of half written by hand, so I'll use this format. Okay, so in dotted decimal, so first of all, we know there's 25 ones as part of the subnet mask. Okay, so well, let's actually write it out in binary first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So there's our 32-bit number in binary format. So I'll say binary format. And of course, in dotted decimal format, that is 255, 255, 255. Well, it's 128. Okay, if you're not really sure, here it is right here, it's 128. Okay, obviously, this is a Mac calculator, so a little bit different than Windows, but almost the same thing. Okay, so there's one of the exercises I want you to do. Now, whether or not you include the binary form doesn't really matter, but you know what? You may as well do it. Okay, let's leave it in. Okay, so this is decimal. Okay, now, let's calculate the network address in dotted decimal. So what does this mean? Well, what this means, of course, is we're talking about the network number. So what we'd be talking about doing is we want to have this IP address, but we're only interested in the network part. Okay, so well, let's write it down first. So 192.168.142.132. Okay, so this is in decimal, and let's write it up in binary format as well. So 192, we can read off the numbers 11000000, 168. Yeah, we think we've seen this a bunch of other times, and lucky you, a lot of my other exercise I'm about to give you, at least you get to start the same way. Okay, 142 is the number 10001110, and finally 132 is the number 10000100. Okay, so that is this format. Here, let me get the correct format. So this is obviously in binary format. Now, what I'd be interested in, network number is the first 25 bits. Okay, everything else is 0. Okay, so what does this mean by this? Well, let's take this entire thing and let's copy it down here. So the network is going to be this number right here. Okay, so you see, this is all part of the network, and so is this. So that means that these things down here, this must be part of the host number, which means that this would actually be the network. Okay, so this is in binary, and let's write it out in decimal as well. So 192.168.142. Well, this would be the number 128, okay, and then it's finished. All right, so that happens to be the network. Okay, now the next thing that I've asked you to do is to calculate the first allowed host on the network. Okay, well, you know what? In binary, this turns out to be not that bad. Okay, so first host, okay, I'll fix the format in a second. What you end up doing is you take the network number, and it's exactly the first number. And done. Okay, there's absolutely nothing else. It's just finished. Okay, so in other words, the first host, that happens to be in binary. So let's say first host in dotted decimal is 192.168.142 142.129. That happens to be the first thing. And it's always like this. It's always the very first number just after the network number. Okay, now broadcast number. Okay, well, remember this is also not so bad, so let's write this out. Broadcast in binary form. Okay, let's copy the entire thing. Broadcast. Okay, but remember the broadcast address is you take the host numbers and you make all the bits 1. So there's going to be 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And of course, in this case, the broadcast is going to be 192.168.142.255 because that happens to be the highest number on this network, so that's nice. Okay, here, let's copy this. We'll paste it in here. Okay, so this is in decimal, this is in binary. Okay, now, what's the last allowed host on the network? Okay, so let's call it the last host. Okay, so what does the last host look like? Well, you know what? It's actually pretty simple. All that you do is you take the broadcast address and you literally subtract 1. That will always be the final thing. Just take 1 away. So here we go again, last host. All right, there's going to be 192.168.142.254, and that's in decimal. Okay, so again, let's copy the format so it looks consistent all the way through. All right, so that happens to be the last one. All right, now the final thing that I want you to do. I want you to go back to Packet Tracer and I want you to configure. Okay, sorry, not this one. That's my remote desktop. Let's try again. I want you to go over to Packet Tracer and I want you to configure a network with. Okay, I think I've got one right here. Okay, I want you to create a Packet Tracer simulator with 4 computers. Okay, so please make one with 4 computers and 1 switch, just like what I've done here. And I want you to configure the addresses on the network according to what we just picked. Okay, so in other words, we're talking about a 192.168.142.128 network. Okay, in other words. Oh, of course, with a /25. So what is you're going to have to do is you have to come over here, and we'll take 192.168, 142 dot something on a /25. Okay, and I want you to do the same thing across all of them. So 192.168, 142 dot something /25. Okay, I'll change the label over here as well. 192.168, 142 something 25, and finally over here 192.168, 142 dot something /25. Okay, now what values do I want you to pick? Well, I want you to pick some numbers from computers that are okay to be on this network. Now, a good one to start with is probably the first allowed number. So maybe 129 would be a good one. So let's pick in, say, 129. And maybe as well the very last number, 254. And what are the other numbers? Well, anything else in between. So like 130 should be okay, and say the number 200, that should also be all right. Okay, and please put the labels on these so I can actually see what you configure them to be. And now, of course, you have to go into each of the configurations, and I want you to set these up. So 192.168, 142/129, and this will be 255, 255, 255, 128. Okay, and that's going to be the net mask. So make sure these are the right net mask. You don't need any gateway. You don't need any other things. You just need the IP address and the subnet mask for these. Okay, so here, let's do the same thing again. Let's configure this to be 192.168, 142.130, 255, 255, 255, 128. because that happens to be the network mask for /25 network. Okay, same thing here. Okay, 192.168, 200, and 192.168.142.200. Okay, so sometimes this happens if you have an old value in place. Okay, because the subnet mask just happened to collide with it. Okay, so sorry, that may end up happening here as well. So maybe you want to start by erasing the subnet mask first. Okay, finally 192.168.142.254, and this will be 255.255.255.128. Okay, so once you have all of these set up, what I want you to do is I want you to come back and I want you to first of all make sure that you can ping everybody. So start with yourself. 168, 142, 129. Okay, make sure you can ping yourself. Make sure you can ping the other computers on the same network. Okay, here's the 200 is okay and the 254 is okay. And here we go. The final thing, of course, I want you to do is to ping 192.168.142 dot the broadcast address, and we know that the broadcast address is this, and let's check and make sure that we actually get back responses from all of the other computers. All right, and this is the type of thing that I want to see submitted. Okay, so do a screenshot that looks something like this. So in other words, just give me a second here, we will take this as a screenshot, okay, and we come over here and I'll paste this in. Okay, so something just like this, you can make it small enough so it fits on a single page, and it is done. Okay, all right, so there we go. There is the configuration. Now, I've left two more exercises for you. Notice that the IP addresses look exactly the same. In fact, they are exactly the same, but of course the slash is a little bit different. Okay, so let's do two more questions, and for each time we'll set up. You'll have to go back. It'll be a little bit of work for the final part. Okay, and what I've done here is I've picked one that was a little bit bigger than 24, and I picked a number that was a little bit less than 24. Okay, so repeat the same exercise that I've done up here and do it for these two, and this will be your activity that I want you to submit here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as an answer so that you can actually see this as well, and it'll be part of the document so you don't have to refer back to the video. Okay? All right, so see you in the next video.